Hey everybody, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Vicky.
And we are the Drama Mamas.
Hell yeah, we are.
This week we're taking on The Lion King.
Hell yeah, we are.
In which we have no worries.
No, we don't.
For the rest of our days.
That's right.
Please silence your cell phones.
Hakuna Matata.
Your discretion is advised. And now your feature presentation.
What?
Alright, so, full disclosure. The Lion King had like 59 writers. That's an exaggeration, but I swear to God it was like 20. And I'm like, pass. And it had 2 directors, but it's an animated film. So again, I was like, pass. So I just covered some of the voice actors.
Yes.
First, we have Simba, grown Simba, Matthew Broderick. He has 73 acting credits, beginning from 1981. He was in Ferris Bueller's Day Off and The Cable Guy before The Lion King.
I like Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Since The Lion King, he was in Election, Inspector Gadget, The Stepford Wives, The Producers, American Crime Story.
That's a lot of good stuff.
Yep. I was watching this show recently about Hollywood, and they were talking about how Matthew Broderick just got out of contract with NBC. This is like a made-up universe.
Okay.
But,
okay. I was like, wait.
And they're like, oh, we got to get him on our next pilot. We have to get him. It's Matthew Broderick. And one of the casting people was just like, are you kidding? Ferris Bueller's Day Off? The Producers? We got to get this guy. And the other one is just like, Inspector Gadget? Like, that's what you know Matthew... I mean, that's what I know Matthew Broderick from, but I understand how ridiculous that is. So, he was the grown Simba voice.
Okay.
Then we've got Jeremy Irons. He was Scar.
Yeah. So when we first started watching The Lion King for whatever, I can't think of the word I'm looking for. Invisible, see-through.
Okay.
What's that fucking
Transparent?
word? Yes, for transparency's sake.
Oh, okay. I had no idea where you were going
my
with that.
brain is not fucking working today. I can't think of any of the words I want. Glass 2. I don't feel like it's the wine's fault because I couldn't remember earlier and I was totally sober. For transparency's sake, I've not watched Lion King in a good 20 years. And so when we were watching it tonight, when Scar first started talking, I was like, wait a second, who's Scar's voice? Because I thought it was Tim Curry.
You know,
and I was
funny.
like, I love him. And then I
some,
Googled it, and I was like,
some trivia regarding Tim Curry.
I love him.
So before...
Like you don't know.
Right. Well, Jeremy Irons started his career in 1971, and he has 90 credits. Now, this is movie careers. A lot of these guys have theater careers as well, which I do not cover. Before this, he was in a lot of TV roles. He was in The French Lieutenant's Woman or Wife. Ooh, I didn't copy and paste it. I actually typed it. I know that's a Meryl Streep movie, but I haven't actually seen it.
Okay.
Since The Lion King, he was in Die Hard with a Vengeance, Lolita, The Man in the Iron Mask, The Merchant of Venice, The Borgias, which I love, Batman vs. Superman, and other more recent Batman-involved movies. And he's going to be in Red Sparrow, which has J-Law, and it's coming out in March.
Cool.
James Earl Jones was the voice of Mufasa.
Mufasa?
Ooh, say it again.
Mufasa.
He started his career in 1952. He has 191 credits on IMDb.
And you've got to know him. You can't not know him.
And the reason you can't not know him is because he is the voice of Darth Vader in Star Wars.
Oh, that's not what I know him from.
It should be.
I don't know what I know him from, but I know that I've seen him.
He was in Conan the Barbarian, Field of Dreams, The Hunt for Red October, Patriot Games, Summersby, which is a personal favorite of mine, but it's not like it was a big movie.
Right.
Coming to America.
Oh, that's what I know him from.
That Meryl Streep film.
That Meryl Streep film.
In case you're wondering why we said that.
I think it was in the Labyrinth because
Sonya was here to enjoy the laughter.
Being an asshole.
I mentioned Out of Africa, and Vicky's like, is that the Eddie Murphy movie? She was referring to Coming to America.
He works at McDonald's.
Oh,
it's a good movie. That's where I know him from.
Since The Lion King, he was in Clear and Present Danger, Third Rock from the Sun. He was the uncredited narrator.
Okay.
He has reprised his Darth Vader and Mufasa roles.
With his voice, I don't think you need to be credited as a narrator. Like,
definitely
we know.
Not. He's also currently the voice of Arby's.
Oh.
We have the meats. He also did this really funny... Cable. You probably know the commercial. It was for cell phone carrier of some sort. It was him and Malcolm McDowell, and they were reading ridiculous text, like Totes Adorbs. He was in that.
I feel like I would remember that, but
you should.
Don't.
I'm going to find it and send it to you.
Okay.
Nathan Lane was the voice of Timon. He's a big theater guy, I believe.
Okay.
He has 85 credits on IMDb beginning in 1981. He was in one episode of Miami Vice. He was in Addams Family Values.
Oh, I love it.
Since The Lion King, he's been in Stuart Little, Love's Labor Lost, Win a Date with Tad Hamilton, The Producers, The Good Wife, American Crime Story, and Modern Family.
That's some good stuff, too.
This movie was released in 1994.
It is...
You were, what, 3?
When it was released June 24th, 1994. I Googled it earlier.
Okay.
Because I was like, how old was I? Yeah, I was 3.5.
It was June what?
24th.
So then I would have been 6.
Yeah, I was 3.5.
You're such a baby.
I know. So this is the first movie we've done that came out after I was born. But I remember it being out my entire life. Like, I don't remember a time without The Lion King.
Right. Yeah, it was really big.
Yes.
And Disney did not expect it to be as big as it was. In 1994, the George Foreman Grill was released.
Oh. I remember those infomercials.
Fucking Hulk Hogan had, like, an opportunity to have that grill and put his name on it. And he missed the opportunity. I believe I read that somewhere.
I can't imagine. Like,
I might have just made that.
The Hulk Hogan Grill.
Right? The Hulk Bandit Grill. In 1994, this is actually a hot topic right now. Tonya Harding and Nancy Kerrigan, ice skating rivalry resulted in some friends of Tonya, including her husband Jeff Gillooly, and associates Sean Eckerd and Shane Stant, attempting to bust Nancy's kneecaps at a U.S. figure skating championship. She had to withdraw, but did well for herself with endorsements and winning the silver medal in the Olympics in 1994. Have you seen I, Tonya?
No.
It's interesting.
Okay.
And ESPN did a 30 for 30 on Tonya Harding and Nancy Kerrigan. And it's a really interesting story. Tonya Harding came from nothing. And she was really rough around the edges. She had to practice in public rinks, and she had to make her own costumes, and she was winning. She was like the first American, I think, to do a triple axel, first American woman to do a triple axel in competition.
Okay.
Like ever. I could be wrong, but she's at least one of a very few that could do it at all. And
so she's cool.
She was very good, but she didn't have...
It's good to know that talent does not equal cool points for you.
I mean... In all of her interviews, she refuses to take any kind... She's not a personally accountable person.
Totally just being an asshole.
I just don't like people that don't have personal accountability.
Yeah, no.
Like, you should be able to...
Yeah, no. If you fuck up, you fucked up.
Yeah.
Own it.
I don't know. I do feel bad because she had a lot of talent and she just could not get sponsors. And she needed them. Wow. Whereas Nancy Kerrigan came from an affluent family and people were tripping over themselves to give her money. And I can understand the... frustration from that. The most rapid... Oh, I can't go into that with a laugh in my voice.
Okay.
The most rapid genocide in human history took place in Rwanda. 1,174,000 people were murdered, most with machetes, in 100 days.
Jesus.
That's over 10,000 people murdered every day.
I thought for a second, you were about to hit me with Jonestown. And I was like, that wasn't 1994.
No, that was like the 70s, wasn't it?
Was it?
I don't fucking know.
I don't remember. That episode fucked me up.
Yeah, it was bad. You guys should listen to Case File when you're not listening to us.
Yeah, but listen to us first.
Yeah.
Please.
According to his biography, Kim Jong-il,
Not Kim Jong-un.
This is his daddy, I think.
First picked one of his relatives.
Somebody.
I think you're right. I think it's his dad.
He first picked up a golf club in 1994 at North Korea's only golf course and shot a 38 under par round that included no fewer than 11 holes in one. Satisfied with his performance, he reportedly immediately declared his retirement from the sport. And I 100% believe that story. Just like I believe a lot of things that is on Twitter right now.
Yep.
A 75-pound bag of cocaine.
Cocaine!
You don't want none of this shit. Fell out of a plane and landed in the middle of a Florida Crime Watch meeting.
Nice.
The champion New York Rangers got drunk and left the Stanley Cup at a strip club. 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon is a conversational game in finding how many connections and how close they are between Kevin Bacon and other well-known people. Have you ever played it?
I have not, but I know about how there's supposed to be like 6 degrees between you and...
Well, it's supposed to be any famous person in Kevin Bacon. You can...
Well, no, I know, but I mean like regular people. I've heard something like with regular people.
I used to play that game with a friend of mine in high school. Like, he's really into movies and shit. We went to...
He probably would have been better to do this podcast with.
Yeah, we don't really talk anymore.
Well, good for me.
But he... we both went on a school trip to New York, and so we were riding the bus together, and we played it a lot on the way there.
Yeah, I don't pay enough attention to celebrities to play.
You probably have a better life for it. Michael Crichton,
maybe,
the screenwriter of Jurassic Park, had a novel, Disclosure, and a television show, ER, reach U.S. #1 at the same time the film did in 1994. He is the only person to achieve these hits simultaneously.
Wow.
So he had a #1 book, a #1 movie, and a #1 show.
That's pretty awesome. Year for him.
Right? Earthworm Jim.
Oh my god, that game is so hard.
It's really funny, though.
It is really funny, but it'll piss you off.
It was created as a result of the success of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The game was created as a satire of platforming video games of the time. For instance, Princess What's-Her-Name was a parody of how so many video games had throwaway female characters to be saved.
Yep.
Wasn't there also Queen Slugforbutt? Wasn't she the main villain?
I don't know.
Pretty sure she was like the boss at the end.
I didn't beat that game.
It's Not a Problem was a level. Oh Heck was the one where the lawyers throw the paper. What? You're in hell.
Oh, I remember that one. I remember that one.
Pain in the ass.
I know. I just know that I did not beat that game. It was the first of many that I did not beat.
For Pete's sake, you had to save that dog. And like in the spaceship. I'm pretty sure it was a spaceship.
I don't recall.
It's been a minute.
I remember climbing over piles of
garbage. I tried to play that as well. I used to play that on my parents' like video game, whatever.
Right.
And like I could muddle through. Like I wasn't great or anything, but I was able to get through levels. I tried to play it as an adult.
As an adult, you're like, I can't do this.
Yeah. In one of the greatest months of all time, in October 1994, Pulp Fiction, Forrest Gump, The Shawshank Redemption, The Lion King, and Jurassic Park were all in theaters at the same time. There was something for pretty much anyone to enjoy at the movies. I remember when Pulp Fiction, when it first came out on tape, on VHS, my cousins that used to hang around all the time, they're like 6 and 7 years older than me. Mm-hmm. They talked my parents into renting Pulp Fiction, and this was like the beginning of my mom not being into
I can't imagine why
some shit. So like we put on Pulp Fiction, and they say fuck like 37 times in the first 5 minutes of the film, and my mom's just like, nope. Like I distinctly remember her just being like, we're not watching this, turn it off,
we're done.
And one of the greatest oh no, just kidding, I just read that. Until 1994, the Winter and Summer Olympics took place on the same year. It's kind of interesting with the Winter Olympics coming up.
Yeah.
Howard Stern talked a caller out of jumping off the George Washington Bridge live on the radio. It's pretty cool. A letter that Johnny Cash wrote to June Carter in 1994 was voted the greatest love letter of all time. They were married from 1968 until June passed away in 2003. Johnny died 4 months later. I didn't realize he died in 2003. I remember when he died. I remember when he covered Hurt. I didn't realize it was that long ago.
Yeah, everything was a long time ago now.
I know, we're so fucking old.
Yeah. Speak for yourself.
The top grossing films of 1994 were The Lion King.
Okay.
Number 1. Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
And True Lies.
Yeah.
You seen those?
Not True Lies, but the other two, yes.
True Lies is actually really funny.
Okay.
The Oscar winner for the year was Schindler's List.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
All right, I got some movie trivia. You want to hear it?
Yeah, I do.
All right. Unlike the other lions, Scar's claws are always displayed throughout the movie.
Because he's a bitch!
Just in case you weren't sure that he's the villain. He's one of my favorite villains.
Yeah, he's a good one.
He's a really good one.
He's not one of my favorites, but he's a good one.
So I'm an idiot and don't know the difference between a caribou and a wildebeest. I should have looked it up, but I didn't. But the wildebeest, in my notes, it says caribou. They're not caribou. The wildebeest stampede took Disney's CG department approximately 3 years to animate. A new computer program had to be written for the CG wildebeest stampede that allowed hundreds of computer-generated animals to run, but without colliding into each other.
Wow.
3 years.
Wow.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Oh, now my screen's back.
Nice.
The animators were so impressed with Jeremy Irons' performance that they worked Irons' features into Scar's face. Now that's kind of normal for them to, like, study the actors.
Yeah.
And his voice, I mean, James Earl Jones has an iconic voice. He's Darth Vader. He's Mufasa. He's like, you hear it, you know it. Jeremy Irons, though, has a very distinct speaking pattern. He's got a really deep, nice, villainy voice.
Fucking thought it was Tim Curry at first.
The team working on the movie was supposedly Disney's B team, who were kept busy, quote, while Team A worked on Pocahontas, on which the production had much higher hopes. As it turned out,
interesting.
The Lion King became a huge critical and commercial success, whereas Pocahontas met with mixed reviews and a much lower box office.
Yeah.
Every time I think of Pocahontas, I remember that Mel Gibson was John Smith, and it blows my fucking mind. Every time. I'm just like, really?
Every time I think of Pocahontas, I think of when the villain goes into his gold suit.
Yes.
And
there's the best meme of that. Yeah. Go insane, throw some glitter, make it rain.
Yeah.
That's the best meme ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was super awful.
Yeah.
I loved Pocahontas.
I did not.
You've seen my childhood picture where I am like Pocahontas from head to toe.
No.
No one should ever see it. It's awful.
No, well, now I have to.
I'm wearing like a Pocahontas hat. I have a Pocahontas era like outfit on that has like the Indian fringe bullshit. And then I'm pretty sure I'm wearing Pocahontas sandals, but they might not be in the picture. Like everything I'm wearing has Pocahontas on it.
Wow.
That day I could paint with all the colors of the wind.
But now you can't paint with shit.
Yeah. I paint with paint now. While recording the scene where Simba gets pinned down by Nala, Jonathan Taylor Thomas, who was the voice of young Simba, was hit on his back to make it sound like he had just gotten the wind knocked out of him. He was a child. Somebody hit him in the back so that it didn't sound like he had... I mean, he's an actor. Let him try. You know what I mean? Like, damn. Why are you hitting that kid?
Well, you know, it's 1994.
He's a little piece of shit in not Home Alone. Home Improvement. But that's no reason to hit him.
Yeah, just get him a little bit.
In early drafts, Scar was a rogue lion with no relation to Mufasa. Eventually, however, the story writers thought relating him to Mufasa would be more interesting, a threat from within, which is why Scar and Mufasa differ so much. They weren't originally designed to be related.
That's interesting.
I really like the parallel somebody on probably fucking Tumblr made between Thor and Loki and Scar and Mufasa.
Oh, yeah, probably on fucking Tumblr.
I think it's really interesting. Even, like, the way that they're colored is, you know, Mufasa's fair and strong. And like, you know, he's got that manly man.
Dark.
Yeah, and he's lean.
Prissy.
And he's got those big green eyes.
Yeah. Asshole.
During Be Prepared, the hyenas march past Scar on the elevated rock was inspired by footage of Nazis marching by Adolf Hitler on the podium, which I actually made that connection Like when because the way that they're marching is very Nazi-esque.
Okay.
Originally, Scar was going to send Nala as a fully grown lion away from Pride Rock because she ignored his romantic approaches, after which she finds Simba alive and well with Timon and Pumbaa. This idea was ultimately abandoned as sexual harassment was considered improper in a family movie. However, the stage musical adaptation includes this plot development as part of director Julie Taymor's efforts to expand female characters' presence in the story, which is interesting. Kind of makes me want to see the stage performance. This is the best-selling home video of all time, with more than 55 million copies sold to date.
Believe it.
And here, you're going to like this. Tim Curry and Malcolm McDowell were both considered for the role of Scar. And the idea of an English majordomo, I don't know how to say that. Majordomo? Mayordomo?
I have no idea.
I feel like an idiot because I'm like, majordomo? I don't fucking know. Which had been previously tried twice.
I can't even make out how that might be spelled with how you're saying.
It's literally major domo.
Huh.
Arigato.
Mr. Roboto.
Which had previously been tried twice for Sebastian and the Little Mermaid and Iago and Aladdin, would finally come to realization with the creation of Zazu in The Lion King. So I guess it's like a secondary character with an English accent. But Iago, they ended up going with Gilbert Gottfried, who does not have an English accent. He just has that awful voice.
Yeah.
And
can't mistake him.
The Little Mermaid has the
Sebastian Jamaican.
Is it Jamaican? I don't know. It's something.
It's not American.
It ain't American.
For sure.
All right, so the plot of The Lion King is that Scar is jealous of Mufasa, who is the king. Mufasa has just had a son, which puts Scar third in line.
Yep.
Or second in line, really.
Yeah.
And he's not too pleased with that. So he hatches a plot to kill off Mufasa and Simba so that he will become king. It fails in that Mufasa is killed, but Simba is not. So he convinces Simba that he is responsible for his father's death and tells him to run. And then he tasks the hyenas with killing him, which they fail to do.
Yeah.
So Simba goes and grows up with Timon and Pumbaa, and he wants nothing to do with the throne.
No.
Scar runs the pride into the ground because he is offsetting the balance of things by partnering with the hyenas. So they're having to feed the hyenas as well as themselves.
Yeah.
And it's just really fucking everything up.
Yep.
Nala goes, she's out hunting for food, and they keep having to go further and further out. She finds Simba. She tells him what needs to be done. They get nasty. And then Simba has the epiphany that he sees Rafiki, then he sees his father.
They get nasty?
They feel the love tonight.
That doesn't mean that they feel the love tonight.
That's basically, Disney speak, that's basically porn.
Oh my god.
So, he sees Rafiki, he sees his father.
There's your preview.
That's Disney porn.
That's disgusting. We're going to be sued. Disney, we've got nothing.
The way that she pounced on it. Have you seen the meme where it's a picture of Nala when she lays back and it says Hakuna Matatas?
Oh my god, no! People are awful.
It's hilarious. Okay, so anyway, what were we even talking about? Okay, so after he sees Mufasa, he's just like, oh, I know what I gotta do. So he goes and he confronts Scar. They fight. He comes out triumphant. I mean, that's basically the movie.
Yeah.
That was a lot easier to explain than King of fucking Texas.
Yeah, well, it's because The Lion King is pretty fucking straightforward.
Well, Hamlet is also pretty straightforward, isn't it?
Yeah. King of Texas
not.
Is fucking not. It's convoluted.
Spaghetti versus waffles. Like, spaghetti's everywhere and waffles is... Have you not heard that analogy before?
No.
The analogy was, I believe, by a comedian, and he was saying women's brains are like spaghetti, where everything is touching and everything is mixed and everything is connected to one another, whereas men's brains are like waffles. Everything has its own compartment, and it's all separated, which I think is bullshit, but it's a good analogy. Are you upset about the sexism or just the analogy in general?
I think I'm most upset that spaghetti and waffles
are being discussed
together.
Side by side. You know what? Let's just put it right on top.
No! I'll kill you. Oh, side note, I was listening to the Accused podcast this week. Listened to the whole first season. Got 2 episodes left in the second season. I would have finished it all this week, but I left work today early. And in the first season, they mention that the average serial killer starts when they're 28. And I was...
Not there yet. Well, I mean, I am, but you're not.
I was like, I still have time. And then I was like, wait, what does it say to me that that's my first thought upon hearing that? And then I was like, I couldn't kill anybody. Probably. You messed with
I don't
my
think
kid.
that you would be a serial killer.
No.
I believe that if you killed anybody, it would be heat of the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I could kill someone cold-blooded. Plan it. Wait for the opportune moment. Execute.
You know what I feel like you probably could? You'd be, like, plotting since high school.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm coming for you.
No, the point is they don't know you're coming. Anyway, so tell me the plot of Hamlet.
Okay. All right. This one is also from SparkNotes. Most of the rest of this season will be from SparkNotes, except for one of them, because SparkNotes didn't have my back. It wouldn't load.
What was it?
I don't fucking know.
All right.
Okay, Hamlet. On a dark winter night, a ghost walks the ramparts of Elsinore Castle in Denmark. Discovered first by a pair of watchmen, then by the scholar Horatio. Not from Miami. The ghost resembles the recently deceased King Hamlet, whose brother Claudius has inherited the throne and married the king's widow, Queen Gertrude. When Horatio and the watchmen bring Prince Hamlet, the son of Gertrude, and the dead king to see the ghost, it speaks to him, declaring ominously that it is indeed his father's spirit and that he was murdered by none other than Claudius. Ordering Hamlet to seek revenge on the man who usurped his throne and married his wife, the ghost disappears with dawn. Hamlet devotes himself to avenging his father's death, but because he's contemplative and thoughtful by nature, he delays, entering into a deep melancholy and even apparent madness. Claudius and Gertrude worry about the prince's erratic behavior and attempt to discover its cause. They employ Hamlet's friends Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, I guess they're Timon and Pumbaa. It's very different names. To watch him. When Polonius, the pompous Lord Chamberlain, suggests that Hamlet may be mad with love for his daughter Ophelia, Claudius agrees to spy on Hamlet in conversation with the girl, but though Hamlet certainly seems mad, he does not seem to love Ophelia. He orders her to enter a nunnery and declares that he wishes to ban marriages. A group of traveling actors comes to Elsinore. Hamlet seizes upon an idea to test his uncle's guilt. He will have the players perform a scene closely resembling the sequence by which Hamlet imagines his uncle to have murdered his father, so that if Claudius is guilty, he will surely react. I feel like everybody knows that bit about Hamlet. When the moment of the murder arrives in the theater, Claudius leaps up and leaves the room. Hamlet and Horatio agree that this proves his guilt. Hamlet goes to kill Claudius, but finds him praying. Since he believes that killing Claudius while in prayer would send Claudius's soul to heaven, Hamlet considers that it would be an inadequate revenge and decides to wait. Claudius, now frightened of Hamlet's madness and fearing for his own safety, orders that Hamlet be sent to England at once. Hamlet confronts his mom, whose bedchamber Polonius has hidden behind a tapestry. Whose bedchamber Polonius has hidden behind a tapestry. There's a difference.
Right.
Big one. Hamlet believes the king is hiding there. He draws a sword and stabs through the fabric, killing Polonius. For this crime, he is immediately dispatched to England with Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. However, Claudius's plan for Hamlet includes more than banishment, as he has given Rosencrantz and Guildenstern sealed orders for the King of England demanding that Hamlet be put to death. In the aftermath of her father's death, Ophelia goes mad with grief and drowns in the river. Polonius' son Laertes, who has been staying in France, returns to Denmark in a rage. Claudius convinces him that Hamlet is to blame for his father's and sister's deaths. When Horatio and the king receive letters from Hamlet indicating that the prince has returned to Denmark after pirates attacked his ship en route to England.
Oh my god.
I know. Claudius concocts a plan to use Laertes' desire for revenge to secure Hamlet's death. Blah, blah, blah. His backup plan, the king decides to poison a goblet, which he will give Hamlet to drink should Hamlet score the first or second hits of the match. He returns to Elsinore just as Ophelia's funeral is taking place. That's Hamlet, sorry. Stricken with grief, he attacks Laertes and declares that he had in fact always loved Ophelia. Actually. Even though he told her to go join a nunnery.
This is boring.
Fuck right off.
Like, how do people... Maybe it's more interesting to watch. Maybe it's like King of Texas, where it's just like a lot.
Eventually, Hamlet stabs Claudius through with the poison sword because there's a sword with poison.
Sure.
Now.
Standard.
And forces him to drink down the rest of the poison wine. Claudius dies and Hamlet dies immediately after achieving his revenge. And I'm not reading anymore because it's ridiculous. It's very long.
So when you say that it's loosely based on Hamlet, the operative word is loosely. Loosely based on Hamlet. I think it's safe to say, like, I would prefer The Lion King.
His uncle killed his dad.
Right, and then his dad visits him and he's like, bro.
As a spirit, he's like, hey, what's up? You've got to go back.
Right, you've got to avenge me.
Avenge.
I said avenge.
I know. Well, I was finger quoting because in The Lion King, he's not like, avenge me. He's like, you need to go make things right. Mm-hmm. With, the pride. But, yeah, so it's very loosely based on Hamlet. Simba's mom was never down with Scar. Mm-mm. It does not even allude to them being down. There is no to be or not to be to be had. So yeah, no, King of Texas, King Lear, much more on point than The Lion King.
Right,
Hamlet.
As far as an adaptation. However,
but it's also Disney.
Yeah, I mean, it would be hard to adapt a Shakespearean tragedy into a Disney film without making some serious cuts.
Yeah.
So The Lion King, I believe that most people that would listen to our podcast are, if they're not fans of The Lion King, they're quite familiar with it.
They should be familiar.
Yeah, I mean, I would think. So, I mean, I don't think it's necessary to go through like a play-by-play, but we could look at
our notes and see what stands out at us.
Yeah, by far,
my
The Lion
first
King.
one. Hold on.
Okay.
Shababa, Alahi, Shababa.
That's not gibberish. They're actually speaking.
Yeah, no, I know. I Googled it, and I was like, people hate me.
My first note was that the opening is probably one of the most iconic openings of any film.
Yeah, no. Like, as soon as that shit starts, everybody does it. They're like...
I remember the Lion King 1.5 when it was coming out, and they had the promos, and the sun's coming up, and they start singing it.
After the second one?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. I was like, because I remember I was like, what the fuck? This isn't how numbers work.
Timon is singing, Nathan Lane is singing, what's on the menu? I will always hear that in my head when I hear that opening.
That's funny.
Baby Simba is super cute, and Simba's baby at the end of the movie.
Yeah, they're the same.
I remember when I was watching this movie as a kid, like, this was the height of cartoon. Like, this was the best cartoons looked.
Yes.
When it came out.
Back then, yes.
Like, the colors were brighter than any other cartoon. And
they
like
used Crayola.
The movements were more smooth than any other cartoon. It was, like, the best of the best. And now I watch it, and it looks worse than, like, the Disney Junior cartoon. Like, that's not a good example, but you know what I mean.
Right.
And it's so crazy... Because in my head, it's still the best. Same thing with Aladdin. Like, I remember when Aladdin came out,
I didn't love Aladdin.
Purples and the golds, and like when the lion comes up and it talks, and or the tiger, who disturbs my slumber. I remember watching that and just being like, this is almost real, And you watch it now and you're like, this is shit.
Like, this is a cartoon. So what is it that Rafiki rubs on Simba's head?
Dirt? I don't know. It's some kind of fruit, right?
Yeah, I tried to Google it, and some internet blog said it was coconut oil. But I don't...
Mixed with something? Because
I don't recall coconut oil being red. And he definitely, like, paints with it.
Yeah.
And coconut oil is clear.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I've never even thought to ask that question.
If anybody out there listening knows the fuck it is, could you tell me?
Yeah.
Because I do actually care.
Rafiki could easily be a secondary villain.
He could. With
like more ominous music.
Yes.
Because every time they show him, they play this like kind of upbeat like music. But if you change that just a little bit,
like you, what is it? When like metal bands take poppy songs.
If you do it in the minor, like instead of the major chords, if you do it in the minor chords,
that's what I'm looking for.
Then Rafiki is like he
could be creepy.
Yeah. Would you call him true neutral if you did an alignment test on him? Would he be true neutral?
I don't know if he's neutral.
You think he would be good? He cares about life and death?
Yeah, I feel like
if he cared enough and he can see the future, wouldn't he have tried to prevent Mufasa?
Well, who says that you can see, like...
That's another note I have in here.
Knows...
Whenever he's just like, ooh, Simba's alive.
I was like, how the fuck?
You should already know this based on how you've been presented to me as a wise man that can see shit.
See, I don't recall him being somebody who could see the future.
Well, he's got some kind of like perceptive powers or something.
Like, he's like, to me, he's kind of like a witch doctor, and he's throwing the bones. He wasn't bones in the movie, but he's throwing the bones, and they're telling him what is happening. But that doesn't mean you know everything that's going to happen. Like...
I was just like, he sucks at his job if he's just not realizing that he's alive.
Not to, like, show my age or lack thereof, but, like, with Disney's That's So Raven, she could see the future, but she didn't know what the fuck was happening.
Right. She didn't have context.
She thought she knew, and then she ended up fucking stuff up. Sometimes.
I always like time travel stuff or future seeing, whatever, where by seeing the future, you make it happen.
Self-fulfilling.
Yeah, by trying to prevent what you saw from happening, you actually put the events in motion that makes it happen.
Yeah, it's like the M word from last week.
Yes.
That we're not going to fucking say
That we're not going to say. We are never saying it again.
The Scottish play.
Ugh. That was such a pain in the ass.
It was.
Let's see.
The curse is real, y'all.
I know that hyenas are technically villains in this movie, but oh my god,
they're so funny. They're so funny. So funny.
Ooh, say it again.
Mufasa. Yes.
Ooh, say it again.
Whoopi Goldberg. I was like, man, I remember.
The other one is Cheech Marin, the other voice.
I remember when I really liked Whoopi Goldberg.
Everything
she did. Yes.
Over and over again.
Now I watch it and I'm like, we should.
Oh my god.
We should. I remember I watched it and I watched the second one and I think maybe there was a third one. I don't think there was a fourth one though.
Yeah, the second one is when she works in that school, right?
I think so. But she used to be great and I don't follow her now, but I know that she got like put on The View or something.
I don't know. I don't watch The View.
No, I don't either. Because that means she's with bitchy old white ladies.
And Sarah Gilbert.
Sure.
Who's Darlene from Roseanne.
Is she on there?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize she was on there. That's how much I watched The View. So I'm not like familiar with her politics or anything, but in the 90s, she was the shit.
Yeah, and she did that movie with Woody Harrelson too. What was that? And then she was in Karina.
She was in Ghost, wasn't she?
Yeah, she got an Academy Award for that.
Yeah.
Scar, for all of his faults, is one of the most relatable villains to me.
Yes! I'm like, bitch, I'm jealous. I want the power.
Whenever he's like, I'm surrounded by idiots, I'm like,
oh, dude, I've
felt that on so many levels.
used that fucking meme, like, so many times where I've been at, not recently, but before I transferred, and I would just be like, oh, my God, how are people so stupid?
Yeah. You know,
if you would just use, like, a tiny piece of your brain.
I think if that role had been voiced by someone else, it could easily have just been annoying. Like, oh, he's jealous. We get it. Fuck off.
I feel like if he had been voiced by Tim Curry, he would be my most favorite villain ever.
Well, I've already brought up the similarities between Scar and Loki, but I think Tom Hiddleston could voice that. Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. No. No.
Or I'd be fine if he green screened it and everything else was animated. Tom Hiddleston was just Tom Hiddleston.
Okay, and we're back to the movie because you're an idiot.
He's also very manipulative.
He is which
is a trait
very
that I
manipulative.
Despise, but can any person that's good at something, I can admit that they're good at it, even if I hate what they're good at.
Yes,
like there are good NASCAR drivers, but I fucking hate NASCAR.
Sure,
I can admit that they're a good driver. He is a master manipulator.
Yeah,
and I can admit that.
Yeah. At one point, towards the beginning, Zazu tells Mufasa that Scar would make a good throw rug. And Mufasa just kind of laughs it off, and he's like, Zazu, that's not okay. But it's kind of funny, because in Hercules, he's not a throw rug, but he's a throw.
The scene when Mufasa has died and Simba's trying to wake him up.
Oh my gosh.
When I was smaller, like there were a couple of Disney movies, like I know it's hard to believe now, but I was a very empathetic child. And tenderhearted.
Me too.
And, right? Like, what has the world done to us?
Me too.
And I would cry.
Sometimes.
I cried, my grandmother loves to tell the story. I used to watch Bambi a lot when I was a kid.
Oh, did you cry when his mom would die?
Well, she tells me, I don't remember this, but she tells me that I didn't cry, but I would just say, poor Bambi.
Oh, God. I read, several years ago, I was reading Bambi, the Little Golden Books version to Sage before bed. And Disney version of the storybook does not have his mother killed by the hunter.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't remember what happens, but somebody was like, that shit doesn't happen in Disney, because I made a Facebook post about it, and somebody had to fucking say something stupid. And I was like, well, that's cool. I was reading the fucking Little Golden Book version, and it does happen, and I still fucking cried.
Yeah.
Like, I was reading it too, and I was like, oh, Bambi,
Did I tell you? Serenity. I was reading The Bridge to Terabithia with Serenity a while. This was a couple months ago. And we got to, like, one of the last chapters when a character dies.
Right.
Like, not to spoil it for anybody, but somebody dies. And I had never watched the movie, and I never read the book, and I didn't know it was going to happen.
Oh,
and
no.
I'm literally, like, I'm having trouble reading the book out loud because I'm crying. And Serenity was so sweet. She was wiping my tears off my face for me while I was still trying to read. And she goes, it's okay, Mama. It's just a book.
That's funny.
So, Timon and Pumbaa prove themselves as father figures.
Yes.
By letting loose some savage dad jokes.
Yeah. You're like my two gay dads.
Yeah. I love the joke, and I've heard it on several like sitcoms where just like, I have two dads. Or my dad's gay. Both of them? Like that joke. It's always funny. It never gets old. Both of them?
No. Just the one.
Just the one.
Oh, let's see. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, Scar not killing Simba himself was a classic Shakespearean fuck-up.
Yes.
Like, you gotta do it yourself. You can't be like Hugo or Iago, where you rely on someone else to do your dirty work. You gotta do it yourself.
Yeah. Let's see. Simba runs away.
One of the hyenas says Mufasa, and Scar's like, "What did you say? ¿Qué pasa?"
¿Qué pasa?
Does that mean what's up in Spanish?
I don't know. I'm one lingual. One lingual. Unless sarcasm counts, and then I'm bilingual.
Ooh, this is interesting. Or not really interesting. I find it interesting. You know The Cutting Edge that I always go on and on about? Mm-hmm. That skating movie? Mm-hmm. The girl, the main person in it, mm-hmm. does the voice of Nala.
Oh.
So while I was making my notes, I was just like, ugh, why is she not skating? Like, I don't hear that.
You're supposed to skate.
The sound of skates on ice, I don't hear it. What do you want me to do? Dress and drag and do the hula?
Yes. Exactly that.
For whatever reason, this is such a stupid leap for my mind to make, but when I see him dressed in the hula outfit, it reminds me of Dirty Dancing at the end when her sister is dressed in the hula outfit and she's got the coconut bra on. Yeah. Don't you wanna? Or I really wanna.
And Simba, when he was about to beat Scar down, mm-hmm. and Scar was like, "No, please." And
Simba he changes
like,
his tune real quick.
Not a killer. He tells him to run away and never return. Mm-hmm. And then Scar's like, "Yeah, okay." And then he's a bitch mm-hmm. and knocks the burning ash.
I don't have a problem with people fighting dirty. If it's a non-sanctioned fight and you're just fighting for fighting's sake, then yeah, fight dirty.
Yeah, no, I can't say anything.
There's no honor in fighting.
No. Well, no. If I'm fighting you, this is hypothetical.
Right, we would never fight.
Now that I have a child.
Okay. I thought you were saying, I said we would never fight, and you said now, and I'm like, the fuck do you mean now?
No.
We're not putting caveats on that.
I have a kid now, and so anytime I get really pissed off and I want to hit somebody, I'm like, Sage. Jail. My child needs me. But if there comes a time where a fight must be had, you do what you gotta do to win. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that means fighting dirty.
Yep.
Still a bitch move. Still a bitch move.
I have no problem with it.
You're a bitch. It's like if you tap somebody on the shoulder, they turn around, you punch them in the face, you're a bitch.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm not saying I wouldn't do it, but I am a bitch. Anyways, they battle. Simba knocks Scar off the rock. He's down but not out. Was talking shit about them hyenas.
They heard.
Shouldn't have done that. Yeah, they heard. Live like a bitch, die like a bitch.
Yeah.
I'm interested to know how he ended up having his skin still intact for Hercules, though.
Well, see, the hyenas are fiscally minded.
Okay.
So they knew that his hide would fetch a fair price, so they only aimed for the underbelly.
Gotcha.
Like a dragon.
Gotcha.
Aim for the soft spot.
Soft spot.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I'm also curious, because it all seems like it's really fast between Simba being born and
they do a
Mufasa
montage.
Dying. Yeah. So I would like to know how old Simba's supposed to be when Mufasa dies. Mm-hmm. And then how long passes between him taking his rightful place as king, you know, when the fucking plains are burning mm-hmm. and everything's dead, and them showing his son, mm-hmm. and everything's green and luscious and all the animals are back again. Like, how long is that? Because the way it plays, it's like instant, but you know it's not.
It looks like a season.
Yeah.
Looks like it was winter.
Now it's spring.
And then spring.
Yeah. So I'm curious about that. Probably I'll never know.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the lifespan of a lion is.
Me neither. I could Google it, but I don't really care that much.
Enough. Yeah.
Like, my phone doesn't have enough battery for me to be Googling.
Would you recommend... I don't know that I would recommend this to someone looking for an adaptation of Shakespeare.
No!
But this is a good movie, and everyone should see it.
I feel like if you've not seen The Lion King, it's because you're a child and you've just not watched it yet.
Yeah, and this is a movie that I enjoyed as an adult as well as a child.
Yeah, I still like it.
Yeah.
There's
some
we
Disney
were both
movies.
fucking sitting here on the couch. Certain songs would be coming on. We were like,
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Be Prepared is one of the best villain songs of all time.
Yes.
It's so good. And then
I just can't Matata.
Oh, I know. I have a video of you singing it.
Yeah, I know. I've seen it. I tried to show it to Joe and John last week, and I couldn't find it on my phone.
Joe was there for the live show.
I know.
You were, like, singing it in his face.
I know. And then I almost fell into him, and then I was like, ew, no!
Yeah, telling his fiance, you got nothing to worry about, like she was worried.
Just in case. I was like, I don't want that. She was like, that's cool.
Is there anything else you want to cover on The Lion King?
There's not a lot to cover.
Yeah. I mean, we've spent 53 minutes covering something.
Well, a lot of that was me telling how Hamlet goes.
Yeah.
The whole fucking hour.
I felt kind of shitty because I'm just sitting here and, like, I was having trouble focusing on your words. And it's not just because I'm a glass and a half of wine in. Like, I was just like, what is happening?
Yeah, there's a lot of words.
It's a lot going on.
When I said Claudius, I wanted to be like, Claudius!
24 has ruined any version of that name for me forever. All right, so I guess we want to thank you for listening.
Yeah.
As always,
we always want to thank you for listening.
Yes, know that we are thankful, even if we don't say it, because we're shitty people, and sometimes we don't.
Yeah, we're thankful, too, for listening. I don't know how many subscribers we have right now.
It fluctuates.
Yeah, that's good. I hope it fluctuates up more than it fluctuates down.
I don't know. I don't think people are really digging the Shakespeare, but we're committed. We're going to finish it, and then we'll do something else.
Yeah, you know what would help that?
If people voted.
Yes.
Let us know what you want to hear. You know what? Don't even wait for a vote. You let us know what you want to hear. You can do it on social media.
You can do what Tyler's done. You just fucking direct message us. Be like, hey, I want this movie. And also, several weeks later, here's another movie I want you guys to do.
You know, that's what we should do. We should have people just suggest, like, genres. Because someone suggested, Tyler suggested true crime films.
And I am so down.
Yeah, I think we both would be down for that. But if you don't tell us what you want, we can't give you what you want.
And also, if you don't share us, we can't get anywhere.
Yeah, well,
No, share us, like us, review us.
Yeah, so if you want to tell us what you want to hear, you can do it on Facebook at the Drama Mamas Podcast. You can send us an email. We have a Gmail account set up, dramamamaspodcast@gmail.com.
Yes.
We're on Twitter now.
Yes.
Drama Mamas Pod.
At Drama Mamas Pod, yeah.
That's our handle.
And I do have a list on my Google Keep app of movies that have been asked of us.
Yes. So
as to when we'll get to them, we do
what we can.
Who knows?
Like, I would be fine if we had enough suggestions of just random movies.
We just do random movies.
Yeah, we wouldn't even have...
we'll just number these. These are practice seasons.
Yeah. We don't have to do a season format where we have a theme. I'm fine with doing...
I am too.
A la carte, whatever.
Yeah, because really, honestly, I was down with doing modern Shakespeare. Like, one of the 2 votes that I voted was modern Shakespeare. Mm-hmm. And I think the other one was, like, 80s action movies or whatever it was.
I'm really interested in the coming of age. Like, I think there are a lot of really good movies about coming of age.
There are. But, it's Shakespeare.
Yeah.
And so, like... I started out and I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to listen to these plays on Spotify.
It's a lot. It's time consuming, especially since we record 2 episodes at a time.
Yeah.
So, like, between Friday and Friday, we have to watch 2 movies, research 2 movies, and then now research 2 plays.
Yeah.
It's kind of a lot to do with life going on as well.
It is. Like, Sarah homeschools her girls. Mm-hmm. And they have tons of activities. And she teaches yoga. And she goes to the fucking gym. And she's banging. And I have a full-time job.
It's so funny that when you put it that, like, because I'm just like, I stay at home. I'm a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah, no, you do all this fucking shit. You do so much stuff. That's why when you're like, no, I've got time, I'm like, do you?
I'll make time.
Do you have time? So, honestly, if we didn't enjoy doing it, then probably we wouldn't do it.
Absolutely
we just
not.
Fucking hang out on Friday nights.
That's why it's cool to see that we have people listening, and it's cool to see that we have people subscribing, and I would love if we had more.
I would love it if they were like people we didn't know that liked us. That would be cool.
That's why I really would like to have more of a Twitter presence.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's easier. I know. I can't Twitter for shit.
I'm trying.
But, like, even if we only had a few, like, 3 or 4 people that listened on the regular, that would be fine with me. Like,
Yeah.
I don't expect to make money out of this.
No, we didn't go in thinking we would make money. Mm-hmm. We went in thinking we would have fun, and we have.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like, we've said this before, but our friendship is stronger for it. And I really appreciate that. Like, it's one of my favorite things about it.
Yeah, because going in, I was like, man, we may have some differing opinions, and we've not had a lot of that prior.
And when we do,
and I was like, how is this gonna work?
Our only arguments have ever been when we're playing a game and we're not on the same team.
Yeah, we're not on the same team because we're really competitive.
Mm-hmm. And
really competitive.
Like,
and we get really ugly when we lose.
Well, the problem is we're both really competitive, but we're also both sticklers about the rules.
Yeah.
And how the rules are interpreted.
We're like, wait.
The fuck is that? What is that?
No.
That isn't in the rules.
You're like, no. And you're like, no, the rules say.
Yeah. I'm really into interpreting the rules.
And, there are rules that I will interpret. And sometimes we interpret them differently. And if we're not on the same team, it can get a little bit hot. Mm-hmm. And not in, like, the porn way.
Like, yeah, heated.
But we generally come back and we're like, okay, well, we're not going to play charades anymore.
Right. We're not going to play quick wits for a while.
We're not going to play quick wits for a while.
And we'll only be on the same team on catchphrase.
Yeah.
All right, so unless there was anything else,
no.
I bid you all a good day. And I hope you all burn it.
You can't keep saying that.
I want that to be my sign-off now. That's such a great,
our sign-off is Drama Mamas.
Yes, so, fine, whatever. So, as always, remember to save the drama.
These mamas. Next week on the Drama Mamas, I like that nobody's fucking noticed that this super black guy has these 2 Elmer's glue white-ass babies. And he's like, yeah, I'm their dad.